And I've even had in previous jobs, even Black men say to me, because I had, certain titles, which you all know how I feel about titles, but I had certain titles that they were so in private settings would be like, you know what, and talk about people I ain't never even met, that other Black people, they just in different positions, lower level positions, and be like, we're proud when we see you on the screen, when they doing a presentation and your name's up there with that, like that makes us feel like we can achieve that. Yes. But it's a lot of pressure because sometimes I want to tell him, Johnny over here is fucking with me. And I'm about to thump him in the throat.
Poor Johnny. Johnny just staying out so
Johnny always in our story. And I want to thump him in the throat and I can't because I know, although I never met y'all, but I know y'all and I can't mess it up for y'all.
Right.
But I want to tell him like, yo, this is some real shit.
Throat, nigga.
Cheers, ladies. Welcome to another episode of Not Your Average Aunties podcast, where we talk about a myriad of different things, about life experiences, and just have a good old time just enjoying life and also navigating this next chapter of our life, and we're sharing with you.
Yes.
Today's episode, we're talking about
women
having that masculine energy. And what that really means.
Yeah, I guess out of the group here, I'm that one because I refuse. I display it in a way where that's the reason why I'm still single.
in her driving.
Not just in my driving, just in overall
driving.
I'm a New Yorker. If you ain't about that life,
we are. But you drive like a straight up dude.
They turned it to wusses since we moved.
No, that's not true. Okay, forget all of that. I want to challenge you in saying that it's just you that displays masculine energy
out amongst
us.
Yes,
because I think we all do in a way, right? So
I just haven't been placed in a situation where I am fully confident in the person that I'm with to make me feel like, okay, I can back off and you got me and truly got me.
Listen, if I get that. I was just telling my brother this yesterday. Actually, we just met up yesterday for dinner, and I was telling him that my mom was a single mom and she did everything. She definitely played that role of mom and dad. What that actually really means, and is there such a true statement?
God, mommy, I miss you.
Yes, yesterday was her birthday, 7 years.
Yes.
She's watching over me as always.
Yes.
But so we was having this conversation yesterday, and I was saying that while loving my mother to death, best friend, appreciator, not seeing her in a relationship and not having that two-parent family home and seeing her always have to be strong and do everything and make everything happen and make everything work. How did that benefit me as a woman entering relationships, being married, and not knowing how to not do what I was taught? But then while in that relationship and others, to your point, you don't know when to say, okay, I can be hands off because the trust factor. Yes. You don't know if you can count on this person to fully pull through. So you're going to always do.
Yes.
And then you find a relationship that you can't count on a person and you're trying to undo what you know.
What you've been doing, acting
and
like
what you've been
years.
doing and acting like for years. It's
but you're always
challenging. And you're going to always have that backup plan in your head in case this person fails you just one time. So I feel like we get a stigma, and I don't want to only blame it on a single woman household, because there are many women who are in many families where two parents are in that home, and that woman still has those strong traits and character traits. So I don't want to attribute the strong woman or the myth of being the strong Black woman, because I feel like we all have our strengths at different times in our lives. But when you are the one that's doing everything and you don't know how to let somebody else be, and you get stuck with that stigma, and then you add the Black part onto it.
I gotta interject. We are all, I don't care what anybody say, strong Black women, because no matter what the situation is, whether we are in our masculine energy or not, the ones that's not, for them to sit there and to hold in or take in all the bullshit and crap that comes at them every single day, especially from the person that they're with, that's strength.
I agree.
That's true.
They just have to know how strong they are to get out of that situation.
And some people don't know that because
and that's the sad
They didn't
part.
find themselves yet.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, but the opposite that's said about that woman who deals with that, they call her weak.
Yeah.
Or they call her stupid, or
call her stupid.
all the other names that you can
Yes.
think of.
Yeah,
Because she's taking it.
Yes.
But she just may not realize or understand her own strength. So she's sitting in the situation.
And it's worse for the woman that's not married versus the one that's been in a relationship for a long period of time and taking it. The marriage piece, because they're married, some people do believe in that institution of marriage,
So
and they're
really-
trying the good and the bad, so to speak, because apparently it's in the vows.
She said the vows or the vows. What did you say? Vows or vows?
I feel
You said
Vows.
with the V. Vows.
Yes,
vows, but
Yes.
when you say vows, I feel like she thinks it's vows and shit.
No, I said
Thinking
vows.
vows is you deal with the shit.
That's what I'm just saying. But so I think okay, there is definitely a stigma when it comes to being that strong woman. Independent of whether you're black or not, it's just being a woman that operates in her masculine energy. And I think what you both just said is that it's a wonderful thing when you can. So two things: operating in your masculinity as a woman, it can serve you well.
Absolutely.
In certain situations.
Yes.
Right? In certain situations.
And it can also
not serve you well.
Right.
Right. So you have to know when to lay it down. But at the same time, you need to be with a man that's going to allow you to
do that.
So I will always say, yes, I'm alpha. Now, what some of y'all know, some of y'all don't, but with my husband, he's alpha as well.
Yeah.
I need an alpha, but he also understands
Yes.
me. So I will definitely relinquish that alpha because he can make me do that.
Yes.
He gives you.
It's a
He gives
beautiful
you
thing
the
when a man can do
comfort
that. Yes.
and security.
He gives me the comfort and security to do that. So even though I can operate as an alpha, I needed somebody who was going to be that way, to just as ambitious, just as this. But he also is, I'm more an extrovert than he is. So I'm gonna, if you put us together until you get to know me, you may not see that.
Yeah.
You may say that she's the one, but you don't really know behind the scenes. Like he allows me to be my soft feminine self when I need to be and what he needs. But at the same time, because we could joke around, and when I'm like being very soft and loving, if I'm too soft and loving,
he's like, get out of here with that bullshit.
What's wrong with you? Exactly.
it's the truth. It's
Oh
the
my
truth.
God.
But you know
Like, what you doing?
Because then he thinks I'm joking, like, and it's so stupid because I be trying to be all soft, sometimes sex. He be like,
That's what you doing.
but it depends.
Like,
you know?
girl, bye.
Exactly. Like, cut it out.
But real talk though, he allows me to be my soft self. Where I can feel safe and feel like I can turn it off, and because who wants to be as a woman? You don't want to be all the
It's
time
not
that
even
boss.
allowing you to. Is making you feel
Safe.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
So loud. Maybe I shouldn't use those words, but I feel safe enough where I can turn it off. And it's exhausting operating with that alpha mentality all the time. Nobody wants to do that.
Yes, and that, I mean, and a lot of single parents or female women have to all the time, and it carries down to their children. Like I have 2 girls, and I'm like, they've seen me operate in the same way that my mom did, and it's crazy because we had a discussion a couple of months ago where there was a breakthrough when I had a breakdown moment of being the one that was always being called on, not understanding from my kids is that because we can count on you. And I'm like, because I literally said I am not the only parent here in this relationship, and I got tired and I retreated. I didn't respond to nothing. I didn't act on anything, and that caused some tension between me and my girls because it was like, you need to respond and you need to react. But my thing is like, why? And their thing was because you always do. But then now I go back to that and say, I've trained you that way to always count on me because I always did. And also that you're going to have to be doing the same shit. And I was like, no. It's like, how do you...
It's about...
You got to stop it. You got to change that cycle. Because
you got to show the vulnerability. Yes. And I'll be the first one to say, because I've operated in... So when you take it back, let's rewind the videotape. When you take it back, you mentioned you're a single mom. I mean, your mom was a single mom. So naturally you inherited some of those traits. So that's strong. So where I grew up with my grandparents, but at the same time, I had a grandmother that was instilling in me that independence because, yes, my grandfather was the provider, but that came with extra stuff that she felt like if there was an elements of independence that she didn't necessarily have to deal with, that she dealt with. Okay, so later on in the years, I didn't know none of that stuff because she held him up to a divine light throughout my childhood, although I did witness certain things here and there. But for the most part, he was a provider, he loved, and that was that. And then later on, after everything shifted, he would big her up. She's the boss, everything, you know. So it wasn't until later, now I'm in my 18, 19, you know, whatever, and I'm starting my own family that she always instilled independent. Get your own. God bless the child that has his own. Get your own job. Don't rely on no man to do nothing for you. You get out and you do it yourself. So now, if I'm hearing that at 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, and then I get a job, you know, at 13, and I'm working and I'm making my money and I'm doing this and that. So it's hard. Like, I was very much independent, and I think I probably took it to once I established that money brings you certain power, you know, then I'm like, okay, so I wanted more of it, and that put me into a boss mode. That was that you know, that mode of, okay, let me that leadership, let me do this to, you know, to get that money. So, and I think that also contributed to that alpha, that masculinity. I never really saw my grandmother be soft in that, because they didn't show that stuff, you know. I had to, so I and then also raised in the Bronx, and I don't want to say environment, but that does contribute. It does contribute to certain things, you know. So yes, I'm a little harder. Like, when I think about the Southern, even girls from the South now, like there's an element of softness, more. Yes, you know,
they want that door to be open.
Yes.
And they
we
will
don't
not
have that. Like,
and we to the episode where we were thrown into the lion's den at an early age.
But so but also the element. But you were saying that the environment.
We don't. The environment, like, we don't expect our guys to open the doors for us.
No, not car door. The regular door. I'm going.
Sometimes there's both. Sometimes
I look for a man to open.
No, are we talking about car doors or
any door?
Any door.
Wait, time out. You gonna be sitting? I'm just saying.
He's supposed to walk to your door before he walks to his door.
Wait, can I just let me play the scenario out? You're sitting in the car. You just arrived at the restaurant.
Yes.
He parks the car. You want him to get out and walk and open your door?
If we're on a date, I do want that, and I do get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Open the door.
To your
Before
car.
you get in the car, open the door when you get out the car, open the door to wherever you're going, open the door.
Okay.
Get in front of you and push the revolving door, because you're not supposed to get in the revolving door first. The man is.
I always felt that way, and for a while I let it slack because I wasn't getting it, and I was in my full masculine energy mode until one person used to pop my hand every time I touched the door, and he brought me back to that place where
that's what you liked. That's what
I want. That's what I expect, and I'm happy that I didn't have to.
Man walks on the outside,
yes,
the sidewalk up on the inside.
Yes. So for me, this goes back to that maybe the environment. Like, so I'm weird with it. So car door, I'm getting out the car, dude. Let's get to the restaurant.
That's only if I'm driving.
But no, it don't matter. I'm getting out. I don't need you to open up the car door.
I'm hungry.
Dude, let's get this stuff. Let's get these drinks flowing so we can have a good old time. You know, now, but if I'm walking into a restaurant, I'm standing, like, you're gonna open up that door. Difference? I don't know, man. It's just my weird mind. I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm sitting in the car. I don't know.
It's funny if I'm dressed up and I got my heels on. I like when the guy opens the door and helps me step out.
So what you wearing dictates how much masculine energy you bring in.
I don't look for it all the time, but I've gotten to a point where it happens already. So
fine, now you stepping out your tent. Come on, get this door.
Grab his hand, opening his door.
When he started popping my hand. I had to, you know, it didn't matter what I was wearing. He was still doing it. It made me feel
it's cool. For me, and you're right, it's stupid, like my mindset, but it's just like, I'm getting out the car. I don't know. I'm not knocking you for it, but I'm getting out the car. And then but the restaurant's like, I'm going to get out, but you better hustle your ass to that door and open it for me. I don't know, weird.
You're already out the car. He probably didn't get out the car yet. What you going to do? Stand at that door?
Stand at the door, wait for him. Yep, I sure will.
I'm about this one here because her ass done hopped out. She said, sit your ass there and wait for that damn door to be opened up for you. And y'all can walk to the door together.
Yeah, I mean, you know, me too.
Maybe.
But I will point out that going back to what I was saying, like environmental, because like I know like women from Atlanta, North Carolina, they definitely
that's Southern mentality.
That is something that is expected. Whereas with us, me, not you, because I'm just like
the man pays for the meal. Ain't no free going. What you call that?
50-50?
50-50.
Yeah, we ain't do. I mean, well, so
I've gotten back to that. There were times that I would just to save embarrassment, I would just pull out my card and pay.
How you know you're gonna be embarrassed? You making an assumption you're gonna be embarrassed?
No, when it's already been made seem like he didn't have the money to pay for the bill.
He shouldn't be taking your ass out. Y'all should have stayed home and Netflix and chill.
wait, is this?
This is not now.
No, I know. But y'all dating? Y'all dating or y'all in a relationship?
We weren't in a relationship.
So then maybe he was just off that time or whatever.
It became more often.
No, child. That would be one of them. Remember how you said
we're not going out.
Remember how you said you used to get home with your kids and eat in your car? He'd be like, "Babe, what's for dinner?" My ass would be like, "I ate already.
Exactly.
What you having?
You better get out and get something." See, but that's the thing. You need.
I'll point out what's in the kitchen. We got hot dogs. We got sandwich meat.
Yeah, but I think, and so now this all ties back to that masculinity, because if a man is incapable, and that's not the right word, if he is in a bad spot where he's not able to help contribute to the household,
I understand that part. And I can understand
at what point, like how long do you let that shit go on?
Depending on how long it's taking him to find work.
No, but how long do you let that go on? Yeah. Y'all both living together. I'm just asking a question. Like, if y'all both living together, I'm gonna paint a scenario because that's what I love to do. You're both living together. And y'all both was working, and all of a sudden, let's say he just lost his job. Like, how long does it become a situation before you have that conversation, especially if he's not looking for a job?
We're not having that.
Because
no,
that ain't.
If you showing me that you really out there trying to find something, and I understand there's times where it is hard to get into the next role.
No, for sure.
But if you just sitting around all day not doing shit, and I come home and you still looking for me to cook dinner, and you here and you not looking for work, nigga, we got issues.
Right.
It's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
I've always been in a situation where unfortunately I've made more, and I still look for you to still do your part as a man. I'm not going to take over that responsibility of what you should be doing. But if I got to constantly repeat myself or have to say something to you about what's happening, your days are numbered.
They like you coming off like a dude at me, like coming at me like that. Do you think there's a time and a place of when, you should not display your masculine energy? Like if you're out with your spouse and decisions have to be made or whatever's happening, do you feel like there's let them take the lead, let them, you take the lead? Because I think there's a time and a place for those things, right? But I also think it comes down to knowing the strength of the individual in that situation. So while you may be out, and then most times he would take the lead in certain situations, but if it's not his thing, it's not his strength, it's not his sweet spot, it's not in his wheelhouse, is it wrong for the woman to go ahead and just get the shit done? And
no, if it's already been established early on in the relationship that he knows that may be her stronger spot, so he lets her take lead in that. There's some men that don't like that, and no matter how wrong they are, they'll sit there and make it seem like they know more than you. And after that,
can I get a specific scenario? I know we're talking
I was trying to think of something very specifically, like. Let's just say you're at dinner with friends. You're at a table setting dinner with friends. It's like 6 to 7, like 5 to 6 couples.
Okay.
And some are housewives and some are very corporate. Same level, probably even making more money than their spouse or whatever.
Okay.
And conversations happening around the table. And it's probably something that maybe your spouse should have answered before you, but you jumped up and answered first.
Okay. But
you answered him first because you know it more than he does.
Okay.
But
if he didn't,
you're at this table of people that expect you to be not so vocal, and here you are.
Yeah.
And he probably looking like, should let me, like, do you think that is...
In that situation, but that's probably a situation where now they're still learning something new about each other. If he knows that she knows more about that subject, there shouldn't have been a need for him to get upset.
But maybe the visual aesthetically,
and it's the groups around,
because he knows it, but it's, as a man, he should, whatever the topic
That's
is.
him being a punk in that situation, because if you know your woman knows more
This is
than
the
you,
masculine energy coming out.
Well, I don't know about this.
that's
I
being
agree.
a
bitch ass.
I agree.
because now that's you allowing your woman to be
your
you.
ego
Yes,
to
you
get
let
ahead of you, because a woman had this statement the other day. She says, "I'm an alpha woman who needs an alpha man."
I say I believe it.
And I believe it too, because that alpha
All three of us
man
believe it.
knows his alpha woman.
Exactly.
He gonna protect her no matter what. Ain't nobody gonna
Exactly.
come at him or her neck about her being an alpha woman in that specific scenario. He gonna shut, like, he ain't gonna be no punk like you said.
He gonna shut
Exactly.
it down. And you know what? He's not gonna feel some kind of way
No.
about
Exactly.
other people, because
You're not
he's gonna
all
be
in
like,
your feelings because your woman stepped up.
yeah, he's not gonna feel. So that's the benefit of having an alpha man that is understanding
And secure
your
in himself.
He's so secure. And he knows you got shit going on because he got shit going on.
Exactly.
He respects what you got going on. He can contribute to the conversation when you're in a
Exactly.
dilemma. You don't have to educate him on a situation. Like I get it. I love it. You know, so. But I also believe that there's some, what they say and deem as their alpha man, who he don't give a damn there's men out there that will say, I'm alpha and I don't care. You don't have to work. Like, I don't care about your corporate job. So you make $200,000. So what?
Right.
Like, I don't care that you have demands. I need you here doing what you're supposed to do in this household, looking pretty. The house looks good. The food's on the table. I don't give a damn that you make $250,000.
Right.
There are men out there that feel that way.
Yes.
But they're alpha. But so that's the type of man to me that's like, you're alpha, but there's some element of insecurity because you need somebody that's beneath you.
You know what
That's
I
all
got
I'm
for
saying.
that, right?
Fuck him.
No, some more. For him to be acting like that, you best to have big dick energy.
Listen.
Because if you don't,
it take a little bit
nigga,
more
watch
than that,
your
but
tongue.
okay.
Take a lot. No, when you're younger, maybe that's what you're thinking. But
I've always
it
felt that
takes
way.
it
You
takes
better
a little
bring
bit longer than
everything
that.
to the plate that I'm bringing and more.
More.
You gonna talk to me like, you gonna try that audacity.
Yeah.
When I hear men that talk like that, the crazy thing is like, you so alpha, and yeah, maybe she does make $250,000, $300,000, and that's in her base only. The bitch still bringing in equity, you know. But you don't care because he's definitely, either he makes that or more. He doesn't care. So my thing is like, why does she have to be the one to cook, clean, know that you got enough money? There should be like the chef.
Exactly.
Get some
You know what I'm saying?
staff
Like,
up in here. You want to talk big back. You want to beat your chest.
You want to beat your chest. All her money is then her money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
She ain't paying for nothing.
Or maybe he pays for everything, but like her upkeep, she handles that bit because that's all he really. Men like that, all they want is you better be beautiful and take care of my home.
And your body.
And your body, like they okay with getting your body done because they want that look. Like it's about, this is what you look like. I want to come, in order for me to still come home to you.
It's an image.
It is an image. You got to keep up your shit, and I'm gonna keep coming home to you. Otherwise, I'm gonna go get this one because so. But it still drives me crazy because that to me is like the lack of. You may be alpha, but you just don't have respect, and you need someone who's beneath you because you're never gonna see her as your equal.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is they'll never be respected, but whatever.
Yeah.
So we talked about the female masculine energy in relationships. Okay. What about it in the workplace? And in society in general?
In the workplace, as a black woman, that shit. Two things. And I'm only speaking from experience. It can help you climb the proverbial corporate ladder, right? But in equal sense, depending on who you're up against, if you don't know how to turn that off or dim it a little bit,
dim your masculine energy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It depending on who's in the room, and I'm not just talking about with another man. It could be with a woman as well,
and another woman of color as well.
Either any color, right? Yeah. You gotta learn how to.
I don't think any color. I mean, it all depends on the race. I'm sorry.
No. What do you mean?
As in terms of, we have to turn it off more.
Oh yeah.
We have to turn it off more because if we display any of it,
so I would disagree, and here's why. Because I've seen other women, whether doesn't matter what race, they're just a woman. A woman operating in masculine energy.
Yes.
Some men they don't give a damn what color you are.
Where it comes back to, we have to turn it off more. We have to turn it off more, not against the male, but against everyone. So you have more people
so
that you turn it off more for versus
yes, we have more people to turn it off more because where you would think you wouldn't have to battle another woman, you still do.
You still have to.
So going back to what I was saying is like you need to learn how to regulate it because otherwise it can burn you to the point where you can have burnout, to the point where if you allow it, it'll drive you crazy because you'll feel stifled. You'll feel like no one's got your back. And it will definitely, you be wanting to go up in the office and be like, yo, you know, but you can't. So it can really burn you out if you don't regulate it. And that's why a lot of us start leaving corporate. We get to a certain age and we like, done. Can't do it. This is
why I made that comment before of why we always got to turn it off.
Yeah. Or probably work in jobs that are more masculine type jobs.
But it's going to keep
But you know, you're right. Yeah. What, construction, blue, most blue collar, like a lot of blue collars where women weren't doing those blue collar type jobs
before, yeah.
But even then, they're still going to be met with bullshit.
Yeah, of course.
As a woman, you're going. Listen, there are men that have this. They just sometimes it's just frustrating because they don't see us as equal, especially in the office. It don't matter what you bring to the table. And as a black woman, sometimes you are underestimated.
Yep, all the time.
You are overlooked
all the time.
Okay. And mind you could have done and put forth a project the same way as someone else, and they would. It's as if you're not there. You're not there until they need something, and then you're there. And I'm not. Yeah. I'm making a blanket statement. Yes, but I realized
I've seen it.
I've had it happen to me.
Same.
And I've witnessed it.
Yeah.
So it is very frustrating. Yes. If you hear it in my voice, and it's just wild that even for us to fight for our money
in the arts and entertainment world too,
it doesn't matter where it's at. Yeah,
like, pretty much.
It sucks when you have to you're trying to fight for your money, and you get a double whammy because you're a woman and you black. You know, so if you can, it's a trip. You know, so when you try to, it's like you should be taking whatever they offer you, which is
should be
bullshit.
Happy. Yeah,
you know, which is bullshit. So
don't let them get a glimpse of where you came from, like what your life experience have been. Is more of like you need to be thankful,
grateful,
yeah,
that you even got this opportunity.
Yeah, you know, so that is, it's definitely to me it's a double-edged sword, because you constantly have to have your game on, and sometimes it can be very lonely as well. You know, when you're operating
like you're on an
island
office, by yourself,
you feel like you're on an island by yourself. You're just trying to paddle. You know, you trying to bring some people along, and then too is also the pressures of being that black woman in a level, at a certain level within your job, where you know that what you do, you're representing an entire freaking race. You know, so you got,
which I think is also very unfair.
It's unfair, but that's what it is. So sometimes it's like, if you know you got other young women behind you trying to climb that ladder, you got to act a certain way because you want to make sure you keep that door open for all of us. You know, so and I think some of that may be changing. I know me within growing up in you know, within the last 20 years, like that was a lot of pressure. You know. And I've even had in previous jobs, even black men say to me, because I had, you know, certain titles, which you all know how I feel about titles, but I had certain titles that they were so in private settings would be like, you know what, and talk about people I ain't never even met, that other black people, they just in a different position, lower level positions, and be like, we're proud when we see you on the screen, when they doing a presentation and your name's up there with that, like that makes us feel like we can achieve that. Yes. But it's a lot of pressure because sometimes I want to tell him, you know, Johnny over here is fucking with me, and I'm about to thump him in the throat.
Poor Johnny. Johnny just staying out story.
Johnny always in our story, and I want to thump him in the throat, and I can't because I know, although I never met y'all, you know, but I know y'all, and I can't mess it up for y'all.
Right.
But I want to tell him like, yo, this is some real shit,
nigga.
You know. So anyway, I digress. I get so passionate. Because I feel it's a lot. It's a lot of pressure. And then to have that pressure, and for the women out there, like I said, I don't have this, but for the women out there that do go home and they have to operate in all this stuff, and you bringing this back, and you don't have nobody that you can make you feel safe, or you do.
You dealing with
and this motherfucker
the same stuff,
and you dealing with the same bullshit at home. Like, come on.
I was gonna say that because you hear the men talk about I got to go out there in the world and deal with the craziest of the world, and I got to come home and my woman want to be barking at me. Listen. Same go for us. We want to be able to come home and vent about our day too, and exhale in our day too. We want you to be there to listen to us. We don't want you shugging us off. No. You talk about us bark at you. You just pushing us off to the side like we don't matter.
Like we non-existent. Like we don't matter until we're spoken to.
Yeah. No, it's annoying, and so that's why I say I am appreciative that I can my troubles with Johnny, Richard Earl, Johnny heard it all. I could do that, but I also empathize with the women that can't, because it is a lot and it is heavy.
Yes.
And then to deal with that and then turn around, especially when the kids are younger, and have to deal with that.
Yes.
And deal with their things, and somebody did them wrong in school and have to that, and you're still in the back of your mind knowing you got a presentation that you got to kick off the net. It's just
even just
a lot.
Walking in the room and just, it's like you can hear the whispers in the back of your head. Time. It's like, here she come, or here. Let me say something. And listen, I had this experience with this person. She happened to be, I think she was mixed race, but of course part with black, whatever. And they hear her stomp through the office. You talk about, you got to know when to move it on and put it off. To hear her, I know she's coming in my direction. It was like, here comes this again. And it's because she was one of those people who wanted to exude that power at the wrong time. Oh, and it wasn't even necessary. What's going on? How can I help? Blah, blah, blah. Don't come like stomping, boom, boom, and you can hear it. And all you know is like, here comes this again.
Yeah.
And because this is how you walk around all the time, and it's not even necessary.
No.
See, my difference was I didn't do that, but I spoke if something was bothering me. I've gotten better at it. It's hard work, trust and believe. But before, it was the least little thing I would speak on it, or I would let it fester, and then it all come out at one
explode.
time.
Yeah.
And I didn't care who heard, how it came out. I said what I said. That was, I'm not like that now. I've gotten a lot better. Thank God.
I don't think there's anything wrong with standing up for yourself. I just think there's a matter of way in which you do it. I don't think everything doesn't have to be met with that type of energy.
Right.
Like, there's times, like you said, there's times when to be that way, when you need to be assertive in certain situations, because they put assertive being in a masculine energy category.
They sure
speaking
do.
up for yourself, and I don't think it should be there. I think if you're being assertive in the right way, and you deserve to be being that way at that moment, then it shouldn't be called masculine energy.
But I don't think it has to be like that. If you're trying to stop the behavior, because whatever is happening for you to be constantly in that mode, is obvious you're feeling disrespected or feeling some type of way.
Or it could be you just feel like you got to always operate that way because that's got you what you wanted.
Yeah.
So I think I know the reason why they are putting assertive. I saw that too when I did some research on this topic. Because historically, women were you didn't hear
submissive.
them.
Yes.
Very submissive. The men talked about it. They went in the rooms and had their whiskey and they sat and smoked their cigars. I'm taking it way back before any of us were born. And they talked about whatever they talked about, the job, the this, the that, other women, whatever it was, while the wives were in the other room.
Talking about Becky Sue on the corner.
Becky Sue.
She ain't there tonight.
Right, so gossiping, talking about maybe something with the kids, with the teachers, all that nonsense. But they didn't. So with that, if there were business discussions being had at a dinner table, then no, they would not. They would not even say anything because the man owned it. So being that assertive and taking charge, that was not the woman's thing. It's like the decisions were made by the man. So, but we fast forward. This is 2024, about to be 2025. By the time this is launched, who knows? You might be 2025. No, because a lot of us come from households where maybe the men have been verbally abusive, physically abusive, or whatever. And so the mom is now, you're seeing that's not what you want, so you toughen up. Or coming from households where it's single parents, or whatever it is, we are bred in a way and reared in a way where we have to be strong and operate in a very masculine energy. It's very rare that we can actually be feminine and be soft, like we talked about, and
still get the same respect that you get.
And still get the same respect.
Because you allowed him to be a man. If you're going to go by social means and what the norm was, you allowing him to be a man is making him feel secure in himself and whatever he does.
That ain't my responsibility.
No, it is not. And I feel that way, and I've always felt that way. But at one point, my mom was telling me that I need to tone it down because you need to allow a man to be a man.
If you're talking down to them and you're demeaning them and you
gotta let them
making them feel like they're not respected. I know that's what I'm saying. If that was the case, but if you're just being your normal, like I don't have a soft voice. Okay. Me and Mahoney talk about this all the time because sometimes he be saying I be mean to him, and I'm like, I'm not mean. I don't have a soft voice. I don't talk in those mousy tones. So everything I say mousy? Or whatever, I don't. Because I'm just
so like, hey baby.
I'm thinking that's what he wants. He may not want that, but I'm just saying to him like I'm not being mean. I'm talking in my normal tone voice. It's just not one of those very soft, low, mousy voices. But he I try to make him understand the difference. Like you'll know when I'm upset versus when I'm just having a regular conversation. Now, if what I said to you, if what I said to you, you took it as a way of me being not nice because I didn't say it in a soft voice, I can't help that. I mean it the same way. It's not. I'm not being mean
because I'm coming from a household. I grew up with both my parents. My mom, she spoke up at times, but she allowed my dad to do and say whatever. She allowed him to be a man. She was old school.
That's not allowing a man to be a man, letting him do and say whatever.
I know it's not. I get that now. Okay. But old school thinking, a lot of the women don't say anything if a man is acting irate because she's allowing him to be a man. That's the norm. A man
that was the
norm back then because to me that's just allowing him to be disrespectful.
I understand that.
I got what you're saying. I got what you're saying.
I'm just saying because I saw all of that, I was just one of those that I didn't like that. I hated it.
Of course.
That dictated how I operate now. And I just always said, seeing that, I was never going to be that way. Yes. And unfortunately, it lasted longer than it should have because I've never been placed in a situation other than one time where I can turn off all of this and act all giddy. Hey, daddy, please get me this. Or can I have some money for this, that, and the third? I can't be that way because I've never been placed there.
So now I get why your mom was the one who said those things to you because that's what she allowed.
Yes, and she's telling me she didn't want her kids doing that. So she's always, even though she did that, because that time frame dictated that, she's saying her children, no, I don't want that. I want you to be better. I want you to speak up more. But then by me doing that, I was always doing it. And it got to a point where she thought maybe that situation might be it, and you should turn it down just a little bit.
Yes,
allow you don't have to stifle all the way. You speak when you want to speak, but there are times when you're supposed to shut up and just be and let him be him.
Got it.
And I just never agreed.
I think maybe is it a situation where you have whoever you dated, you were the breadwinner all the time or most of the time?
A part of that was, but that never dictated how and who I dated. That never was a problem for me.
But what I'm saying, I guess what I'm getting at is it's not a problem for you, but it could be a problem for them.
Yes, it was.
So then that means you still have to operate in your masculine energy. Yes. If they can't either step up to the plate or do things to make you feel like you don't need to. So maybe now you need to date people that are doing better than you are,
which is hard. It's still hard.
I don't know because I don't think money should change.
Yeah, the money.
It should.
That money piece.
But if they can't get over the fact that she's the breadwinner, then how does that work?
Because the breadwinner is not what's making her act in her masculine energy. She acts in her masculine. She acts in her masculine energy because it's not just about the money. It's about other things,
yes.
Right? Other things played into that. Money is only a piece of it. So that should not change how he responds to her or how she acts in that relationship. So if she's always acting masculine, that's just who she is.
Yes.
But if...
No, not just because of who I am, I haven't been placed in a situation where I can completely trust the person I'm about to
And it's
follow.
not just about a finance thing. It could be anything. Like, I need you to get something fixed.
Yes.
You don't get something fixed. I
gotta go do it now.
Right. I need to call the contractor or service man to do something, but you don't
be doing that. You as my man.
Right. So it's not about whether he can pay that mortgage.
So whether he has capabilities.
Yes. Yes.
So she's
taking the lead on everything.
You need to date someone who's doing better than you. And it's not just the money piece
Yeah,
now.
yeah, it can't just be the money piece, right.
We can talk about just about life and knowing how to do things and knowing
when I need to step
it has
in,
emotional intelligence.
Step in so you don't. It's
and
like basically
intelligence.
Yeah, it's like you and Richard. Y'all been together for years. Something needs to get taken care of. Y'all have a conversation about it, and you know it needs to get done by this date. Whether you checking or not, he gonna go do it. So you want somebody that's gonna be like, I don't have to go and ask all the time.
But and in his defense, I will also say too, even though I do operate in my masculine energy, yes, but I'm also not a damsel in distress. I can be soft, but I'm not, because that's not something he wants either. Like when there's a leak, if he's at work and this has happened, is a leak and he's at work,
you know,
he don't want it to be a situation where he's like, you know, how do I turn the water off? Right. You know, and then we can't have that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna figure out, even if I don't know, I'm gonna figure out how to turn that damn water
between
off.
The two of you,
we'll figure it out.
Things are gonna get done.
Yes.
And you don't want to be the one that's always doing those things.
Correct.
And it's funny.
Yes.
It just is funny for me because I've been in this masculine energy for so long, I'm impatient. And I hate having to ask more than once. I'll give you twice. Yes. But if I gotta open my mouth and ask you a third time to go take care of something that normally men would do.
Yeah.
And and now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go take care of it, and you getting all upset because you in your feelings about me asking, nigga, kick rocks.
And it makes you impatient in other areas.
Exactly.
So that it starts with one of those things. Like, I'm not gonna ask you more than once, or if I do have to ask you more than once, I'd rather go get it done myself. If I have to tell you how to do it, I'm asking you to do it, I'd rather do it myself. It's bad sometimes.
And because I've been in that energy for so long, I know a lot about cars.
Yeah.
If you're in a relationship with somebody, normally the guy's the one that makes sure your oil change is done. Why gotta be reminding you about your car?
But it goes back to being able to trust and rely on somebody that you don't have to be stepping up and beating on your chest instead of them stepping up beating on their chest.
So I think, and this is interesting because there's also some talk around, like you mentioned this a little bit earlier, like the man's ability to lead. Yeah. Right. And again, it's not just the monetary piece, but just in everything. Right. And I think, and that will help the woman be soft. Yes. And more feminine. Maybe, you know, or just not have to be served in that masculine capacity because she knows the dude got it.
And by him doing what he's doing, that'll make her want to serve him more because I can trust now. Yes. You're going to take care of it.
Now, I also would say that because we live in a society where let me phrase that. There's a gender war going on right now. Okay, where it's like men and women, and it's like, I don't know how we got here, and I think social media definitely contributed to it, right?
But I think it was always there. It's just like women now are speaking up more.
Maybe, but where I'm going with it is, I wish people understand, because the negativity gets the hype, and that's what you see, right? Yes. But there's a lot of positive, and that's also which contributes to you making that statement, because the women, right? But it's always negative. But there's a lot of relationships where the man, going back to the ability to lead, he may lead, but he also knows his weaknesses and his wife's strengths. Yeah. And that's how, and to your point, you play off of each other. Yeah. And that might be in roles where the women that are traditionally male, and also roles where that are traditionally female. Case in point, if you have a man that's the wife is cooking, he happens to get, working, he happens to get home quicker, so he cooks dinner, and then cooks dinner, which that's the traditional women's role. Yeah. So I think what I'm getting at is people need to think less about roles and responsibility
and getting things done,
and get things done, and figure out where your strengths are, where does it help, and how can we do this together.
Yes. But that's not going to happen until a man is comfortable with himself.
Wow. And a woman knows when to turn.
Exactly. She's not going to do that until he's comfortable with himself, because it goes back to, if he allows her to be her, she knows by how he's letting her be, she'll know when to turn it off. Right. And let him take the lead. Richard is a perfect example of that. So that's never going to happen until men start being more secure with themselves and not letting that ego or the other head dictate how a nigga acts. I know you got some act right.
That's what she said.
Damn. Well,
on that note,
power
to the strong black woman.
Exactly.
Stay stay strong.
Stay strong.
Don't let them break you down,
Exactly.
girl. Don't let them break you down. You got this. And listen, if you
could be feminine, soft, and strong all at the same
you
damn
can be
time.
all of
All
it.
of that.
Feminine, strong. So just learn when to turn that dial up, turn it down.
Yep.
And also feel, hopefully for those that don't have or find somebody that can allow them to feel free, not allow, but that can make
rock
them
with
feel
them.
Yes.
free enough for them to be soft and feminine, and listen, because we equal opportunity, whether it's male, female, whoever can allow you to be and show up where you can let your burdens loose and not have to feel so wound up. I pray that you find someone that's going to allow you to do that.
Absolutely.
And same with men that's watching too. I pray that you find what you're looking for in your partner that's going to allow you to show up and be a man and serve, but also be vulnerable and talk and communicate and make you feel safe. I pray that everybody out there can find someone that they can call home. And it's not just a place, but a person that makes you feel good.
That person. Yep.
So here, and
cheers to
I guess
that.
she's being nice to you guys. Bye.